Some call him the Hand, the Terminator, and the Claw, but everyone calls Kawhi Leonard one of the greatest basketball players of all time. During his 11 years in the NBA, there have been numerous times when Leonard has proved to everyone, from fans to opponents, that there really is no one like him. Trying to sum up his greatest moments is nearly impossible because Kawhi has just had so many, but today we are going to take a walk down memory lane and remember 5 moments in Leonard's career when he looks unreal, alien, and unstoppable. One of the most amazing things about Leonard is that he has dominated with 3 different teams throughout his career, and he's actually won 2 championships with 2 different teams. Leonard earned his first championship ring back in 2014 when he was a member of Greg Popovich's San Antonio Spurs. These were not the Spurs that we see today. Instead, this was a supremely talented team and the most dangerous squad in the West. Leonard wasn't the only sharpshooter on the roster because back then, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and Manu Ginobili were the league's most powerful Big Three. In 2014, Leonard and the rest of the Spurs were battling the new Big Three in town: LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh of the Miami Heat. The Heat were attempting to win their first finals after months of extreme hype, and the Spurs were attempting to score another title. Leonard was seen as the future of the Spurs because Parker, Duncan, and Ginobili were coming to the end of their careers. But during the first 2 games of the 2014 NBA Finals, Leonard didn't look like the franchise's new face. He only scored 9 points in both of the first games of the series, and everything was tied up 1-1. It was during Game 3 that Leonard came back to life and started to make his presence known. During that match, he posted an amazing 29 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks too. It was a resounding success for Leonard and the team, and gave them a 2-1 lead over the Heat. During Game 3, Kawhi shot a wild 76% from the field and lit a fire that would keep burning through the rest of the finals, leading to his first championship ring. Plus, he joined Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant as the only players younger than 23 to score 29 points or more in an NBA Finals game. It's wild to think of all the success that Kawhi has found playing for the Toronto Raptors because he wasn't there for long, but he sure made his time count and led them to their first Finals win. The 2019 postseason started with a bang against the Orlando Magic, and Leonard and the Raptors easily sailed to the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Philadelphia 76ers. This was a matchup that everyone was waiting to see: Leonard against Joel Embiid. The first game was held in Philly, so it was vital that the Raptors nab a home win to set the tone and put them on the right footing for the rest of the series. If they could win in Philadelphia, they could set the tempo for the games ahead. All season long, Kawhi had been a hero for the Raptors, and that was the case in Game 1 when he shot 69% from the field and scored an earth-shaking 45 points in only 38 minutes. He also grabbed 11 rebounds and 2 steals too. Leonard was so dominant that no one on the Sixers was able to score 20 points, and everyone was left in awe of Leonard and his abilities. It was a painful loss for the Sixers, but things would get even more painful soon. More on that later. Many people consider 2019 to be the heyday of Kawhi's career, especially in the postseason when he just couldn't be slowed down. When his Raptors finally reached the finals, they were facing off against the Golden State Warriors. Now, I don't have to tell you how scary the Warriors are, even to a player like Leonard and a surging team like the Raptors. Many other teams have felt confident going into a series against Steph Curry and his team, only to walk away humbled and heartbroken. When Game 4 of the finals rolled around, everyone was expecting a bloodbath. That's because the Raptors had a 2-1 lead over the Warriors, and the game was scheduled to be played at Oracle Arena in the Bay Area. Head coach Steve Kerr had definitely come up with a plan to minimize Leonard and the rest of the team, right? Wrong. Instead of being silenced by the ailing Warriors, Leonard just laid on more hurt. In Game 4, he put up 36 points during his 41 minutes and shot an impressive 50% from the field. But Kawhi wasn't just scoring, he was chipping at the glass too, and again earned a double-double with his 12 rebounds. This is an example of Leonard proving what a strong two-way player he is, capable of helping his team at both ends of the floor. One of the craziest things about Kawhi during this game was that he took just 22 shots to earn his 36. Warriors fans were left dumbfounded after Game 4 of the finals, and they were beginning to realize that their team might really lose. Sure enough, the Raptors put the final nail in Golden State's coffin just days later, winning the championship 4-2. It was a glorious moment, but the Raptors almost didn't get there because of a tough, exhausting series against the Bucks just days earlier. Back in 2019, shortly before they beat the Warriors and won it all, it looked like the dance had come to an end for the Raptors. The Milwaukee Bucks were waiting for them in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they were ready for a fight. Sure enough, they burst into the series with an agenda. At the time, Giannis was one of the biggest rising stars in the NBA and was trying to reach his first finals. Behind his power, the Bucks nabbed a 2-0 lead at the start of the series, and it seemed like the Raptors wouldn't be able to claw back from that deficit. It's a rarity that a team can come back from being in a 2-0 hole. But this is Kawhi Leonard we're talking about. When Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals rolled around, he was going to fight hard to get his team back into the swing of things. The game was hard-fought and long and pushed into overtime. During 52 minutes, Kawhi scored an eye-popping 36 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block, posting shot after shot after shot. It felt like he just couldn't miss. When the game was over, the Raptors were still in a hole, and they knew they had to keep fighting hard. And they did. Following that game, they won the next 3 games and earned their ticket to the finals. This game reminded everyone that you can never truly count Kawhi out, even when his team is facing a tough deficit that so few have climbed out of. However, if we're going to talk about unbelievable Kawhi Leonard moments, we can't forget one of the most talked about, astonishing, and unbelievable moments in NBA postseason history. As mentioned, the Raptors won the finals in 2019, but claiming the chip actually wasn't the most exciting part of the playoffs. Instead, the most exhilarating part of the postseason came weeks before in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Game 7 is always exciting because it's do or die, win or go home. It's when the best rise above the rest, and when NBA legends prove what they are made of. Game 7 began, and the series was tied between the Sixers and the Raptors. Everything was on the line, and both teams had so much to prove. Leonard had even more to prove because he had just been at a bit of a rough patch for the last 2 games. Although his 21 and 29 points in games 5 and 6 were still pretty impressive, they paled in comparison to what he had done earlier in the season. Kawhi needed a strong comeback game. If he didn't, the season was over. And guess what? Not only did Kawhi come back powerfully with 41 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists, he put up one of the most amazing shots in league history. Let me set the scene. 90-90, tied game. There were just 4.2 seconds left. In that short amount of time, fate would be sealed for either the Sixers or the Raptors. The Toronto crowd was on its feet, dying to see how it would all go down and if the Raptors could pull it off. Unsurprisingly, the inbound pass went straight to Kawhi, who drained the clock as he made his way up to the corner of the court, blocked by none other than Phillies MVP Joel Embiid. Embiid locked him down pretty well, causing Leonard to shoot a tough 3 as the buzzer sounded. The ball found the rim, bounced again, and then magically sank through the basket. The fans erupted as the Raptors inched closer to the finals. The 76ers walked off the court with their heads hung low, and the Toronto team raced to Kawhi to celebrate him and treat him like the hero he was. It was an unbelievable moment that still lives on to this day because it's a pure, undeniable example of just how sensational Kawhi Leonard is. And additionally, it's one of the few moments during his career that Kawhi actually looked incredibly happy. That says it all right there.